Hello, there are 6 things that are essential to health. And you know what essential means. The first thing is it's very important to keep breathing. You need oxygen. And the second thing is H2O. Coke is not a substitute for water. You need 72 trace minerals, 26 vitamins, 3 of those essential fatty acids, and 9 amino acids to make enzymes and proteins. Well, we've known this for quite a while, and now we have fortified milk and enriched bread and total cereal, and yet there's a hole in the theory. More and more of our friends are getting sicker and sicker at a younger age, and it seems like something's missing. And what Manitech discovered quite a while ago was that we need 8 glycoconjugates. Now, glycoconjugates, Glycoconjugates. Glycoconjugates. Glyco is a Greek word that means sweet. So this actually has to do with sugars. And there are about 205 sugars known to science, but these 8 have nothing to do with energy. They are the letters of the alphabet of communication between the cells, so that communication is coherent. And conjugates, if you ever conjugated a verb to get the imperfect tense or the future tense or the past tense, you're basically arranging endings to words to conjugate the verbs. In this case, you're arranging the sugars on the surface of your cells. If you could look at your cells under an electron microscope, you'd have all these glycoproteins, they're called, sticking up above the surface of the cell through the cell wall, kind of like bushes. And clustered on these bushes, like clusters of grapes, are all these 8 glycoconjugates arranged in orders that spell out messages and convey information. It's kind of like a blind person reading Braille. If all the bumps are present, the message can be understood. The trouble is, in the average American diet, we're down to about 2 of the essential 8. We need 8 for clear communication, but we only have 2. And that causes some problems. It's like a blind person trying to read a sheet of Braille with 75% of the bumps missing. Now, when I talk about communication, I think of our English alphabet. And I don't know if you're aware of it, but from just 4 strokes of the pen, you can get every letter in the alphabet capitalized or small. For example, a capital A would be 2 of these and 1 of these. And a small a would be 1 of these and 1 of these. And an S would be 2 of these, 1 this way and 1 this way. And so you get K's, B's, P's, T's, M's, R's, all the letters of the alphabet capitalized or small, simply from 4 strokes of the pen. But it's important that you have all 4 strokes and that they're in the right place. If I go like this, you might think I'm saying cat. But that's because this bottom stroke actually belongs up here. Not that I'd be saying eat, but that I'd be saying fat. So fat, eat, or cat, it's all the same word depending on where you put the last stroke. But what if you're actually missing a stroke? What if that's not even available? And I want to communicate an important message to you. Without that stroke, it would be hard to read the message. But if I could add it back into my diet, by supplementation if necessary, it'd be available to go where it belongs, and it could prove to be an important message. I need help. So basically what we're talking about is all the cells in your body have these glycoconjugates on them with the glycoproteins clinging to the glycoconjugates. The glycoproteins with the glycoconjugates clinging to these sugars clinging to the branches of the glycoproteins. And the immune system comes along, the macrophage, and tries to read the message, or the T killer cells, or whatever component would be involved. And if all the alphabet is intact, the message is coherent, And the immune system knows if it's dealing with a virus or a fungus or a mold or a toxin or a bacteria or a good guy. And if it's dealing with a good guy, it wants to preserve the good guy and make sure it's safe and will thrive. And of course, if it's dealing with a bad guy, it wants to destroy the bad guy so we stay healthy. That's what our immune system does. Because everybody you know has bad guys throughout their body, and it's important not to permit them to proliferate. Now, if my immune system comes along and it reads the bumps on the surface of the cell, but I don't have all 8, then if I'm deficient, then the bumps aren't available and the message isn't going to be readable. It's incoherent. If I have all eight in my diet, all 8 of these essential sugars, these glycoconjugates, then when my immune system comes up to the cell will say, I'm a bacteria, I'm out of control, please destroy me. And that's what it does. But if the message is, that's not going to work. And it leaves the immune system in a dilemma because it doesn't know if it's dealing with a good guy or bad guy. And it can only do one of 2 things. It can either say, I'm not going to worry about it, it's not a big deal, I'll let it go this time, no problem. Or, I'd rather be safe than sorry, let's destroy this unknown cell. Okay, if it comes up to a cell and the message is blah, 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 and it doesn't know what to do, if it decides to destroy the cell, and it turns out that that's a good guy, that's a mistake. And what happens if you destroy too many of the good guys? Then you get an autoimmune issue. And that's not good. If your immune system thinks it's supposed to destroy your pancreas, that's not good. If it starts destroying your connective tissue throughout your body, that's not good. If it goes after your joints, that's not good. It's your own immune system that's been your ally all your life. All of a sudden now it's turning on you. It's destroying your body. And that's not good. That's not what God intended. So, for example, if you have a friend who's dying of bad guys, because conversely, if it's not killing the bad guys, that's not good either. We want to leave the good guys alone and go after the bad guys, but if it's confused and it can't differentiate, we're in trouble. So if the bad guy is out of control and it's not destroying them, that can lead to death and suffering, and so we don't want that. So if a person's dying of bad guys, let's say, it's not really an immune issue. The person could have the strongest immune system in the world, the strongest immune system. But if this super strong immune system can't recognize the bad guys, it won't kill them. So it's not an immune issue, it's really a communication issue. You got to break down communication. The immune system could do the job if it could figure out which cells to destroy and which ones to preserve. Does that make sense? And that's what's happening. If you Google glycoconjugates and any issue, you'll be blown away with the research that's going on. It's a hotter field of research now than the Genome Project. An MIT Technology Review journal in 2003 listed the 10 emerging technologies that'll change the world, and this was one of them. And the analogy I heard once that I really liked was somebody once said, what if I could offer you 10 cents on every bottle of vitamin C that sells in Colorado this year? That'd be good. What if they made it nationwide or went international? That'd be even more money. But that's only one component out of the whole category. What if I could offer you the entire category of glycoconjugates, all 8? That's huge. The analogy went like this. How many different computer software programs are there in the world? Well, there must be hundreds of thousands. Okay, then how come one company, Microsoft, is so huge and so wealthy? Well, because Microsoft has the software that runs a computer. And everybody else's software runs off their operating system. That's a good position to be in. The guy that figured that out ought to be pretty wealthy. And I guess Bill Gates is. Okay, here's the analogy. How many different nutritional products can your friends come to you to talk about? Herbs and everything else. Hundreds of thousands. But Manitech has a software that runs the body. And if your command control central headquarters goes down, you can spend all the money you want on this other stuff. But if your body can't recognize it and properly utilize it, it's wasted money. And that's why this is so huge, because we have a patent on this blend of glycoconjugates. Now, you can't patent individual glycoconjugates, these individual sugars, because God made them. So what Big Pharma is trying to figure out is why they work so well, so that they can make them synthetically. And then that's a human invention, and you can patent that and sell it and make lots of money until too many people die. You got to pull it off the shelf, because our body is not intended to consume synthetic stuff. Our bodies are natural. God intended for us to eat natural foods, real foods. And so when you put in drugs and medication, because you can't drug a person back to health. Medication doesn't deal with the cause of the problem or the root of the problem. It only deals with the symptom. And you can be on medication for 4 years, and when you quit, you still get the same problem. We're finding Americans actually want to get well. So there's a huge potential for making a whole lot of money simply by helping other people. And if you help enough people get what they want, whether it's their health, their financial health, or their physical health, then you can have what you want. Now,